I can't believe I've forgotten to add myself into the stream. I just started talking and unmuting. Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Oh my God, that's shocking. Anyway, what I was going to say is Saturday night. Should be editing a video by now, not getting ready to kick off on Sunday at 3 p.m. But here we are. Here we are. And yeah, and you know what? Hat hair ain't too bad. We'll take the hat off. It's just sort of a bit flat and weird. Anyway, yeah, how are you lot? Armed with one of these. Got the retro stripy little one. Yeah, not a bad little number. And we have some discussing to do. I had to push it back 5 minutes because the website I used to get my shared shirt info was broken. So I thought, right, I'll check just before I go live if it's working again. And then I'll whip a new shared shirts up. If not, I'd have recycled one. It was working. And I have a new one. And I think it is an absolutely incredible one that none of you will ever be able to guess. And I know I say that a lot, but this one genuinely I didn't know about. I didn't know about until I found this one today. Yeah, 45 players have played for both us and Sunderland, one of whom is a certain Mr. Horatio Stratton Carter, Rach Carter, who will be playing for the Rach Carter Trophy tomorrow because he's Sunderland legend as well. And at last, Hull City have just announced Rach Carter will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Rach Carter should have been one of the founding members of it. So the founding ones were Ian Ashby, Billy Bly, Chris Chilton, Andy Davidson, Pete Skipper, and Ken Wagstaff. Inductees have been, I think, hang on, is this on? I swear this is on City's website somewhere. Club, I can't find it. There used to be a little Hall of Fame section. Is it under history? Hall of Fame, that's it. So, yeah, these are the members of it. Obviously, Ian Ashby needs no introduction. Everyone knows what he did for the football club as captain and what have you. Everyone knows he was a founding member, as was Billy Bly, former goalkeeper. He played for us he played for us for quite a long time, actually. I think he joined us just before the Second World War and was playing up until like the 60s. I think I'll get his Wikipedia up now, actually, have a look. But he was a founding member. Billy Bly. So he signed for Hull City in 1938, so yeah, just before the Second World War, and left at the end of the 1959-60 season, which is mental. We obviously contest the Billy Bly Trophy with North Ferriby. Chris Chilton, founding member, obviously no introduction either. Andy Jock Davidson, a record appearance holder for the club as well. Then Ken Wagstaff was a founding member too. Then what? Pete Skipper was inducted in 2019. Dino in 2020. Gareth Roberts in 2021. Andy Dawson in 2022. And Nick Barmby in 2023. And I said on Tigers Talk on the podcast and Humber Wave Radio the other day when we were talking about Rach Carter, it's a position that Will on the pod has held for a very long time as well. Rach Carter should have been a founding member of the Hall of Fame. It's a crime that he wasn't. So Rach Carter is now in the Hall of Fame. The club have just announced at 1904 on the clock that that Rach Carter is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'll read the statement to you. Why not? I'll pop it up on screen. As part of our 120th year, we are delighted to announce that Rach Carter is to become the next legend to be inducted into the Hull City Hall of Fame. Horatio Stratton Carter, universally known as Rach, first joined City as player/assistant manager on the 1st of April 1948. It's a day that has become a key moment in not only the club's history, but also the city's, and as an international class player had joined the club when where City had been ravaged by World War II. Rach Carter is probably, when you think about the standard he was at when he was playing for Hull City, the best player to play for Hull City. For me, it's between two, Carter and Mika Seri. Because these two, like, how many caps did Rach Carter get for England? I'm going to Google this. Rach Carter played 13 times for England. Well, how old was he when he joined City? Born in 1913. So December 1913. So he's 10, 20, 30. He was 35, actually, so probably not. But in terms of, like, what this guy had done in the game, and he was still probably at the level to have done it based on, you know, the fact we'd just come out of a war. It's crazy. Anyway, days after his arrival, veteran boss Major Frank Buckley resigned, which saw Carter become player-manager of the club. Seeing the gates of a recently built Boothby Park increase dramatically due to Carter's arrival, which saw the record attendance of 55,019 against Manchester United, the inside forward led the team to Division 3 North glory in 1948-49, when winning the division with 65 points. Excuse me. By the way, Boothby Park at capacity was a lot less than 55,000. This was the day when you could just go in and stand there, and it didn't matter how many there were. Obviously, pre-Hillsborough. A prominent figure for the club, Carter handed in his resignation as manager in September 1951, but remained as a player until May 1952 when he left. As a player, Carter netted 62 goals in 150 outings, while as a manager of which he was the 11th permanent manager in the club's history, won 69 of 145 games in charge, drawing 37 and scoring a total of 259 goals. Alongside the usual supporters vote, we are now introducing an annual second induction. Our Heritage Committee, 120 steering group, made up of former players, historians, supporter groups and club staff, will be given the opportunity to select a Hull City great to join the illustrious inductees. I like that. It always felt like there should be more than one induction every year, and it's fitting that Rach Carter gets put in there. Like I say, he should have been a founding member. Anyway, the honorary induction makes Carter the 11th member of our Hall of Fame, joining Ian Ashby, Nick Barmby, Billy Bly, Chris Chilton, Andy Davidson, Andy Dawson, Gareth Roberts, Pete Skipper, Ken Wagstaff, and Dean Windass. Carter will officially be inducted into the Hall of Fame in the 2024 Rach Carter Trophy fixture tomorrow against Sunderland, with his son, Rach Jr., taking the award on behalf of the Carter family. And the little graphic they've done for him, it was different on the homepage. Let me just get it up on the homepage. Yeah, there we go. They've just got a few little pictures of him in there. And just let me check Rich Carter again in there. How old was he when he died? He died in 1994 when he was 80 years old. Wow. And he died in Willoughby, so he was, living in and around the area. Just looking through his Wikipedia here, in the Second World War, he joined the Auxiliary Fire Brigade, and on 19th of March 1940 was asked to join the fire service. Neither appointment was universally well received, as some perceived it as a way of avoiding national service, and others suggested favouritism when he was the only man appointed to the fire service from 240 applicants. On the 2nd of October 1941, he joined the RAF. He worked as a physical training instructor, and after several postings, he was posted to the Loughborough Rehabilitation Centre, where Dan Maskell, he was an English tennis player who was later a radio and TV commentator on the game, was his squadron leader, helping army men, many in casts, recover their fitness and general health. He played 17 wartime internationals, as well as other representative games for the RAF and combined services. He guested for Huddersfield Town, Hartlepool United, York City, Derby County, and Nottingham Forest. He was a cricketer as well, Rich Carter. He was a cricketer. That's mad. Cricket and football at the same time, that's unheard of now, isn't it? That is absolutely unheard of. So where did I'm not sure how old his son will be, because Rach was 80 when he died, and he died 30 years ago this month. So anyway, that's Rach Carter tribute over. It's about time he was in the Hall of Fame, and the club have done well popping that one in. Now, you're wrong there, Joe. Stuart Elliott for me since I've been watching City. Yeah, I understand it with regard what I was saying about international, but Rach Carter was an England international up to that point, joining City. When did Rach Carter get his England caps? When was he capped? He got his last cap on the 18th of May 1947, so he wasn't an active international. But Rich Carter, it's obviously hard to gauge with the time and whatever, and people always say that Waggy and Chillo could have been first division players had they not liked to drink too much, but that was football back in those days, and it is of course hard to gauge for us sat here now, but for me, I think it'd be hard to look past Rach Carter as a player who was the best for Hull City in terms of overall career span, in terms of what they did in their career. Carter, Barmby, England, played for England, of course, played at the highest level, Division 1 Premier League. Seri probably wasted a lot of his career at Fulham, really, which is why he ended up playing for Hull City, I suppose. I'm missing an obvious one. Who was I thinking of? Oh, of course, JJ Okocha. JJ Okocha's got to be up there. Absolute icon, JJ Okocha. Anyway, let's dive into chat now. I've done 15 minutes on Rach Carter. Evening, Alfie. Gallagher, hello. Jensen, hi. Gallagher's missing the game because you're at work. Oh, unfortunate. Warlord, all right. Any info on Tan Kessler? I was like weirded out by it as everyone because Tan seemed to have won the club at heart. 2, he joined the EFL board to try and make change happen for the benefit of the club. I think something's gone on behind the scenes. No, it's almost certainly gone on behind the scenes, and that's not for us. Well, that's stuff we'll probably never ever be privy to. See what Adjan says, I suppose, because he won't avoid questions about Tan forever. We've just got to get the replacement right, because Tan had such a positive impact on the place. For me anyway, in terms of like from the outside looking in. Anyway, yeah, funny one. Yes, I am aware I was on Football Focus a few weeks before the end of last season. Yep, I am aware of that. Come on, Joe, you know me. Spill. I don't know anything. I absolutely promise to you. I was in my uni flat Thursday morning. I got out the shower. Had a little dry off. Got some clothes on. Looked at my phone. Oh my God! What? Tan's gone. I was as shocked as any of you lot, and hand on heart, I know absolutely no concrete for sure, absolutely definite. Yes, I believe that information on why Tan left. Just the usual sort of social media whispers. That's all I've heard. And they're social media whispers, so you can't believe them. Until I hear something sort of concrete, that's when I make my judgment. But I might, who knows? Yeah. Well, it's been weird. He plays basketball at Hessel School. Hasn't been for around 4 weeks. Tan Kessler used to play basketball at Hessel High School. What? Why didn't I know about this? Because I was there for 7 years until May, June. How did I not know about this? Anyway, him and Berry Pardo, what a boy. Tan loves his basketball, to be fair. Tan loves his basketball. Although, right, let's just say it, Tan was in Turkey for like last week, as in the week that the club were in Turkey. He did interviews out there. So that explains one of the weeks. The other 3, I don't know. I think there was a spell where he went on holiday, maybe. If I remember looking like from seeing his Instagram stories, if I've got those right. I was working the night we signed Rachopi. What? So let me get this straight, Ben. Right? You were the one on duty during the transfer window, the night that Rachopi was signed, and Tan and Berry weren't busy working on transfers or anything like that. They were just kicking about playing basketball. What? I love that. Although, right, some people have suggested that Adjan might have dismissed Tan because of the way the transfer window went and how slow things were until Adjan got involved, which might be a reason, but equally, I think we're very unlikely to ever hear the truth. I'm going to be honest. I think Adjan will come out with some PR spiel about changing directions and our philosophies and our visions didn't align. It'll just cover. It'll just be all nice and amiable. Yeah. Coxie, good evening, mate. Interesting to hear Baz say only thing that surprised him was the timing, that he kind of thought this would happen from what he's seen behind the scenes. And that's an example of why journos, how am I trying to say this? Why journos can't always report everything they know. Like, people get angry at Baz saying, oh, Baz, you definitely know this name, you definitely know that name about transfers and that. But he's got trust with the club, right? And some of his sources, I have no doubt, will be very, very close or even in that brain team, recruitment team around Adjan, Tan, Berry, Mertan, Mustafa, etc. And he has to keep them on side to keep getting these scoops. So if he hears murmurings of discontent that Tan and Adjan are having a sort of, a bit of a sort of squaring up, he can't come out with the sort of rift at Hull City as chairman and vice chairman come to blows. Adjan Ilagella and Tan Kesler were smacking the living daylights out of each other in the main stadium reception at the MKM Stadium last night, a source has told. He can't say that because that's almost certainly not what happened. But you get the point I'm trying to make. To keep getting the information we crave, regardless of what anyone thinks about Baz, he's the first one people go to when a rumour gets reported in a transfer window. He's the first one when we see something from like Pete O'Rourke or a Turkish source or Yagish in Turkey. He's the first one we as Hull City fans go to. He just is. Regardless of what you think of the bloke, we know he's connected. He's the first one we go to verify information from anywhere else, apart from if it's come from Mike White at Radio Homicide. He's the first one we go to. And to keep being that, he has to, do these like source relations, let's say. You can't name your sources. You can just sort of dress it up as a senior source or a source at Hull City. You can't out them. He can't say, for example, I've got this information from Mertan Ajel, who is on Adjan's like brain team. You can't say that. You've got to keep your sources on side. You keep getting the information in return for their anonymity. So if Baz was getting that sense, then he can't. If he was getting that sense based on conversations he'd had, he can't just come out with there's a rift at Hull City, because one, he'd get pelters for it, and two, he wants the club to be successful as well. So he's not just going to chuck what destabilising story like that out, is he? Baz saying Adrian may become more involved now, but I personally don't think he will because of his ties to Fenner. Adrian won't. Someone, whether it's promoted from within the club or brought in from external, won't. Well, that will happen. Someone will take Tan's job. Absolutely. There is not a chance Adrian will take on the day-to-day running of the football club. There's a reason he delegated that to Tan. That there's 100% a reason for that, and that's because Adrian has a media business to run, TV shows to film. He's in Istanbul, he's in Dominican Republic, he's in Greece, he's here, then he's back to Istanbul, then he's back to Greece, then he's back out to America to watch a basketball game. The man's busy. And there's the whole Fenerbahce thing added into that as well now, like Coxie mentions. So Adrian I highly doubt Adrian will take that responsibility on. It will go to someone within the club. It wouldn't surprise me if someone like Berry Pardo gets promoted into vice chairman role. Wouldn't shock me at all. But equally, I think this is an opportunity now where we can look for someone who's got experience in the EFL of running a football club, and Adrian can look to bring them in to run the club day to day, which is someone he should have had alongside Tan in the first place. When Jim Rodwell left, we never had a CEO. We had Adrian, Tan. Jim Rodwell was here. He's now gone. Brain team. And then like the people who run everything at Hull City. So like who you'll have seen in statements. I'm trying to think who's been in statements. Toprak. I think he works in the finance. Phil, commercial, and so like sponsor relations. Andrew, commercial and marketing. Joe Clutterbrooks, the chief operating officer. So all those guys head up their own departments or whatever away, but the sort of broader umbrella, and looking at the playing side as well, should have been taken up by somebody when Jim Rodwell left who knew what they were doing. Helped Tan out. The fact Tan had this brain team, had no registered director of football, but Adrian said Berry does that job. No sporting director, no like what? What? There's another role I'm thinking of, but I can't have the words. I've been waffling for far too long here, right? I need to watch F1 at 8 because I'm not staying up to 11 to watch qualifying, so I'll have to watch the sprint. Anyway, yeah, my thoughts on Tan is it's strange, it surprised me. Farewell, mate, you were class. Right, team news. Kyle Rushworth and Stephen Alzate require MRI scans on injuries sustained in training this week. Dokan Sinek is available for selection to potentially feature in a championship game at the MKM Stadium for the first time since, get this, nearly 2 years ago. The last time he featured in a championship game at home was Boxing Day 2022. That is shocking. Abdush missed the 4-0 defeat to Norwich before the international break with a minor hamstring problem, and he's unlikely to be risked against Sunderland. Ryan Longman is closing in on a return to full training. He's doing all the stretching and little ball work bits, but he's not doing any contact or anything like that, as is Andy Smith. Andy Smith, I've forgotten to take Andy Smith out there, but Harvey Cartwright is the other absentee. The strange one in this is Timmy Tatala. I spoke to Tim not too long ago, and I asked him how the injury was, and he sort of goes to me, "Oh yeah, Joe, I'm all better now. Don't worry, mate. I'm all better." The manager's consistently reported him as still really, really injured since then. So God knows what Tim was doing. I love Timmy though. He's such a great bloke. He's such a great bloke. Yeah, ledge. Absolute ledges, Timmy Lottatala. Brilliant. Ref watch. Let's rattle through some of this because I have bits to be getting on with. Oh, all of this is going to have died because I've not touched the tabs in an hour while I've been sorting other bits out. Please, no. Sort yourself out. I've just got to scroll back down to where our referee is. That's League 2. Here we are. Referee's Bobby Madley. 2 liners are Blake Antrobus and Graham Kane. 4th official Andy Davis. Blake Antrobus. Where's he refereed before? The first thing that comes up is he works for News Corp Australia, which means he's on the Murdoch payroll. What's he done? He's done a Premier League game. He's done 8 Championship games. He did 32 Championship games last season, to be fair. He's done a Premier League one this season, 8 Championship ones this season. Did under-17 Euros qualifiers. To be fair, he's worked his way up the refereeing ladder quite quick. Was in the National League in 2019-20, and then looks as though there's like nothing on here for a little while. So he did National League, then went into Premier League 2, League 2, League 1, EFL. Interesting. That's the first time I think that's the first Hull City game he's done. Anyway, stats from Norwich. Yeah. Look, we went forward looking all right, but you can't defend like we do against a good team. And that's why I worry for these 2 games. Just because Sunderland know how to put the ball in the net and Burnley know how to control a game, even if they don't score very many. But the way we play, I think they will. Sunderland, they've had a bit of change since we last played them. Chris Riggers, he's playing a bigger role now. Phenomenal young player. Signed Ian Paveda, obviously signed Aaron Connolly as well. What Aaron Connolly came out and spoke about over the international break about his struggles with alcohol as well. He's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Shame it didn't work out for him here. But at Sunderland, I hope he has success. Because he deserves it. He's a good bloke. I don't think there's anyone else we need to speak about apart from really Anthony Patterson. There's obviously Joe Bellingham. Obviously. Anthony Patterson's subject of interest from Manchester United, I think, at the minute, which is odd. But it shows you the position they're in, I suppose. Moving on then to current form. Where's my tab gone? There it is. Right, we'll start with us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after defeat to Sheffield United and 3 wins on the bounce against Stoke, Cardiff and QPR. And then lost 4-0 to Norwich, but we're not going to talk about that anymore. Sunderland drew 2-0 with Leeds in the last game. Before that, 3-2 defeat to Plymouth, 1-0 win over Middlesbrough, 2-1 defeat to Watford, 2-0 win over Derby. Before that, Leeds draw. And that puts them, in the table, sitting second. 2 points behind Burnley, who played today, have got a game in hand. We are we're sat 14th. With a win tomorrow, we will rise up the table to 9th. And the results today, we are the only game tomorrow. The results today were the following. I'm sorry, over the course of this weekend so far, were the following. Leeds 2, Sheffield United 0. Cardiff City 5, Plymouth Argyle 0. Preston North End 1, Coventry City 0. Luton Town 3, Watford 0. Oxford United 1, West Brom 1. Blackburn 1, Swansea 0. Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 2. Millwall 1, Derby 1. QPR 1, Portsmouth 2. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 2. And Stoke 1, Norwich 1. Like I said, we are the only game tomorrow with the midweek ones, and I believe both us and Sunderland play on Wednesday. Memorable match. I've gone for the 4-4. What a roller coaster this was. Tufan gave us the lead. That was then turned around into a 2-1 losing scoreline with 2 goals in 2 minutes from Joe Gelhardt and Amad Diallo. Aliyah Sayadmanesh made it 2-2 a couple of minutes after that. Slater then put us 3-2 up. We were then pegged back by Amad Diallo's penalty. Jack Clark in the 81st minute made it 4-3. And then Tufan's 98th minute penalty made it 4-4. Our team that day was Carl Darlow in goal, back for Louis Coyle, Alfie Jones, Sean McLaughlin and Jacob Greaves at left back. Midfield 3 of Seri, Tufan and Slater, with Sayad Manesh and Pelkas the wingers, and Adama Traore playing as a false 9. One of those two was as a false 9, yeah? Those were the days. Ingram was our sub-keeper. The rest of the players on the bench alongside him were Callum Elder, Greg Doherty, Malcolm Ebue, Ryan Woods, Ryan Longman and Xavier Simons, with Liam Rosina in charge there. And the last time we played them, obviously, was Carvalho's goal in the 1-0 win in January. Team was also up in goal, back for Coyle Jones, Greaves and Matty Jacob. Midfield was composed in some way, shape or form of Doherty, Morton, Slater, Lakilo, Tufan and Carvalho. This a time when we, again, had no strikers, because Connolly had been decapitated by Angus Young. We hadn't signed Ohio yet. Sharp wasn't match fit, and Liam Delap got injured at Sheffield Wednesday on New Year's Day. So the bench was Matt Ingram, Sean McLaughlin, Aliyah Sayadmanesh, Billy Sharp, Harry Vaughan, Andy Smith, Ollie Green, my boy, playing for Livingston, now up in Scotland. Massive what could have been, man. Oh, I love Ollie so much. Tyrell Sellers, Fleming and Stan Ashby. Yeah, Ollie Green, what a boy. What a boy. And our record against Sunderland. A win each in our last 2. And then before that, it was 4 consecutive draws dating back to January 2021. 5 consecutive draws if you count our penalty shootout win against them in the Carabao Cup. Opening game of the season to kick off our League 1 year. And that leaves us with shared shirts and the predicted stuffs to do. The shared shirts, I picked a good one earlier. You're not going to guess it. Booyah. Alfred and Die. You were never getting that. Sorry, you lot. I don't mean to insult your footballing intelligence or anything, but yous were never, ever getting that. Alfred and Die joined Sunderland in 2013, left them in 2014 following 16 games and no goals. Joined us in Marco Silva's one and only transfer window in the January of 2017. Played 15 times as we were relegated from the Premier League, scoring once against Liverpool. Right, so chat, evening, Tay Hook. Hate to say it, but I think it'll be a loss tomorrow, 3-1 to Sunderland. Wouldn't surprise me. Didn't he score that random tapping in the Prem? It was a goal against Liverpool, I think from the edge of the box. I think it was from the edge of the box, if it's the one I'm thinking of. but he scored against Liverpool because Umani has scored in the second half. How do you think Tufan would have done in this system? Interesting. That's a lovely little question. I'll sit on it. I'll write it down for Tigers Talk on Monday. And we'll answer it then. And Ben, opinions on Puerta. Had a really, really good little showing against Alanyaspor. Not the strongest of opposition. The Turkish Super League is sort of like the Scottish Premiership in that there are 2 or 3 good teams. Scotland, Celtic Rangers, Turkey, Fener, Gala, Besiktas. After that, they're all just like dross. But yeah, I like Puerta. Want to see what he's got. And that's why in my predicted team, I've gone for this. Panda in goal, Coyle, Hughes, Jones and Giles. Just going to let that sit with you for a second. The back 4. Midfield, Zambrano, Puerta and Malem. On the right, Balumi. On the left, Miller. Up top, Chris Badia. Bench, Rachopi, McLaughlin, Pedro, Burns, Simons, Drama, Slater, Kamara and Palmer. There we go. There we go. Do I think Abdush is missing Tufan? You know what? I do. Because those two, like last year, inseparable. Absolutely, genuinely inseparable. And I think Abdush wouldn't have come here knowing he'd be the only Turkish speaker, if you know what I'm trying to say, in the squad. Dokan Sin, it doesn't count. He had Ozan to help him, and Ozan helped sell him the project a little bit under Rosinha. So I do reckon Abdush is sort of missing Tufan a little bit. But, you know, he got introduced to those sorts of players, your Louis Coyles, your Alfie Joneses, who are still here last season. So he won't be totally on his own in the canteen. He just needs to be played centrally. Predicted score. I get the feeling we have a defeat on the horizon. I just don't think you can defend like we do and expect to get a result in a game like this. So, yeah, I think it's either a 3-0 or a 3-1, I think. Pains me to say it, but I think it is. I'll see you for a matchday vlog at some point because I'll come home from the 3 o'clock kickoff begrudgingly. Thanks, Sky. Swivel on it. Have some tea. Then get back to Lincoln and watch F1. So whether I sit and edit in the car as I'm getting taken there, not while I'm driving, I won't be driving. I don't know. I'll get it out at some point. Unless we lose, like, terribly. And then I might just feel demotivated and not do it. No, you'll get a vlog at some point. It might be Monday, but you'll get a vlog at some point. But I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm going to go watch F1 now. See you later. Up the Tigers. Goodbye.